In episode 1 of this series, we said that issues with cannabis that have been known for decades are now confirmed by vast population studies. These studies cover hundreds of millions of people in the 50 US states and in 27 countries in Europe. Both places are ideal for examining the burden of disease because there are differing cannabis use regimes. Some US states or European countries prohibit any cannabis use, others decriminalize it, others allow it for medical use, others for recreational use. And this creates differing levels of cannabis use across the entire populations, where liberal recreational cannabis laws cause the highest use of all. Here is how the US is analysed for a particular cancer, and here is Europe. Also plugging in alcohol and tobacco use across differing US states, we get the following results. Notice that cannabis in this study is causal in 27 cancers. That's double the number of cancers caused by tobacco. And because the US Drug Enforcement Authority analyzes all seized cannabis for the strength of cannabinoid constituents, these studies also determine which appear more causal in terms of cancer. Notice on this slide that it is cannabidiol, or CBD, that is worse than the others. In the European study recently published, it tells us that cannabis is a more powerful correlate to cancer than tobacco or alcohol, and that it is intergenerationally inherited by future generations. No cannabis user can claim anymore that they are only harming themselves. A study here on pediatric childhood cancers implicates cannabis in up to 70% of those childhood cancers. Now, there's a belief that medicinal cannabis is somehow different to illicit cannabis. Now, that's not the case. Medicinal cannabis has the same properties as illicit cannabis. Both will cause these cancers fairly much equally. And remember that in many cases, medical cannabis use is more regular, and that CBD medications select cannabis for high CBD concentrations. Remember also, it is CBD that is more causal with cancer. And here is something that is sobering. Hemp that is used as cattle feed puts those cancer-causing cannabinoids into the human food chain, as evidenced by a particularly troubling birth defect of limbless babies, which is something that we will examine in our next episode.